What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mint Hunter Comics, and I was pretty darn accurate 14 months ago when I was guessing the grades for what these books were going to be. In fact, by my count, I was only slightly off on 4 of the 15 books that came back. And yes, you did hear me. This submission is not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
Skip a bit, brother.
But 14 months old. Recently, CGC just announced that their return times have significantly improved even for the economy tier, meaning for Bronze Age and Silver stuff like this. I certainly didn't feel it, but maybe moving forward, that's what they're going to be doing. First up, we have a Bronze Age entry, Swamp Thing #2. First, Anton Arcane, first Patchwork Man, and I thought Abby Arcane was cameoed in it. Maybe I'm wrong. One of my more favorite Bronze Age keys, actually. Swamp Thing 2 is a banger of a book, and I love that cover. I guessed 9.2, and it got a 9.2. It's about a $175 book right here, so I'm pretty happy about that one. I think I spent probably 40, 50 bucks on that. Very happy about that one. Next up is Shazam #1. And for those that say, and even I have said it, that CGC's grading is inconsistent, their grading for this time was very consistent. This is the third time I've submitted a Shazam 1. They were all from the same collection, and every time they get a 9.4. That does show me consistency. And yet again, it happened here. I guessed it would be a 9.4 based on the last one I submitted, and it got a 9.4. So I'm really happy about that, and it's nice to see a little consistency with the grading there. Next up, we have Aquaman 35. It's the first appearance of Black Manta, and I said it would get a 6.0. It actually got a 5.0, so this is I believe this is the most off I have been in the entire submission. One of the best 5.0s you'll ever see, because almost the problems are all on the back or interior. So all the colors are there, presents beautifully. It's a really gorgeous looking 5.0. I'm very happy about it. It of course does have spine ticks and I think a corner crunch at the bottom left. But that is a nice looking 5.0. Unfortunately, the values dropped so much on that what I paid plus the pressing and grading is actually at a loss for this book, what the current fair market value is. So do I sell it or do I wait? I don't know. Next up, we're going to get into some Green Lanterns. And what's interesting about this is these are all stuff that I got at a yard sale about 14, 15 months ago. And I thought these were great high-grade examples. And to some degree, I was right. But what's interesting is I slabbed all these so I could have copies of these books. That way, when I continue to look for higher grades, I can just replace them. I already pretty much for all of these books have obtained or have on deck really high grade copies of these. So these are going to be for sale. We have Green Lantern 63. For this one, I guessed a 6.5 and it got a 6.5. I'm digging my accuracy. So far, we've been able to get 3 out of 4 correct. Next up, same flea market find, Green Lantern 59. What's interesting about this book is this is the only one where my guess ended up being lower. I guessed it was about a 6.0. It actually came back a 6.5. That is the first appearance of Guy Gardner, and I will absolutely take a 6.5. Many of you know that I own a 9.2 white pages of that book. So until I get better than that, which is not going to happen, anytime I get that book in, it'll be for sale. Next up is the first appearance of Eve Dormus, which is a romantic interest for Hal. And I said it would get a 7.5, and it got the 7.5. I had to really go digging through my Google Sheets to find this guesstimation for this book. This was, again, 14 months ago I did this. Next up is, let's see, Green Lantern 55. And I guessed a 7.5 on this one. I was very close. Did get a 7.0. And I have to tell you that I believe this is one of the best 7.0 examples you may ever see. This is an absolute gorgeous 7.0 off-white to white pages. First appearance of Charlie Vicker, Zabora. That's a nice one. really good looking 7.0. Up next is Green Lantern 44. I said that this would get an 8.0. Ding, ding, ding. 8.0, there you go. Gorgeous colors on that. I just love the colors of that one. It's not a key, but it was supposed to be a placeholder for my collection. I already have a 9.0 of that, so won't be needing to hold on to that one. Next up is Green Lantern 31. I guessed that it would be an 8.0, and I was ever so slightly off on this one. Did get the 7.5 off-white pages. I just really like that cover. It's the wedding of one of the Jordan brothers and a couple cool things, but I just really like that cover. Sometimes I submit for the covers. And we've got Green Lantern 24, which is the first appearance of Karshan the Shark. And I said that this would get a 6.0. Very difficult book to get. It is from 1963 after all. Bam. Actually, it got the 6.0. Let me look at that real quick. Like many of these on here, this, just like the Aquaman and just like one of the Green Lanterns, this is one of the nicer 6.0s you'll ever see. I was kind of hoping the press would boost me up. These were very strict gradings I gave it, but CGC is grading very strict now, so maybe that's why I've been so accurate here. We got Green Lantern issue 22, which is not a key. But again, I was trying to get all the Green Lanterns, so it makes sense that I was kind of try to get this as a placeholder. Off-white, white pages. I said that it would get a 7.0, and it did. Very nice. Okay. Next up is a key. It is the first appearance of Sonar, which is one of the more notable Green Lantern villains. This is from 1962. You guys know how hard it is to get anything above like a 3.5 from the 60s. I said that this would get a 6.5, and it did. I'm liking my accuracy here. I really am. 6.5, origin and first appearance of Sonar. A lot of these books are, unfortunately, they get into the real money over like an 8.0. So a lot of these I'm getting spanked on the fair market values on. But that's okay. I paid very little for these. It was a trade plus a little bit of extra cash, I believe, that got all this for me. And I didn't even submit it all. There were a lot I still didn't submit. Green Lantern 12. This is actually the most off that I was. I said that this Green Lantern 12 from 1962 would be a 6.0, and I was very surprised to see it actually got a 4.5. So that dethrones the Aquaman in terms of how wrong I was for that. I'm very wrong on that. Green Lantern 12, I don't know if I agree with that 4.5. That one's a little harsh to me, but let me look at that. I mean, there is a chip. CGC does hurt for that pretty bad. I guess it's a 4.5. The nicer 4.5, that's for sure. All right, and next is the only qualified one that we've got, and I knew it would be, so it's not a surprise. Green Lantern 9, one of my favorite Green Lantern keys. It is the second appearance of Sinestro, and this is the cover that everybody wishes was the first appearance of Sinestro's cover. Very valuable book, very hard to find in high grade often. And I said that it was going to be like a 6.0, maybe a 6.5. It was really sharp. If you go on eBay, the ones up are usually 3s and 2s. This one was really good. In closer inspection, I noticed, though, that an ad was cut out. And they caught it. For some reason, my dumb brain was hoping they wouldn't catch it. So I thought, okay, it means we're going to get a green label. Maybe it bumps me down to like a 5. Well, I was pretty accurate there. I guessed a 5 and green label, and it got a 5 green label. I decided to continue to get it graded, even though I knew it would be green, just because of how nice it is and how darn well this thing presents. So I'm glad I did it. This is the first intentional qualified book I have ever submitted. Feels weird, but actually it still does have a little bit of a value. Unfortunately, it does take a hit It's only at like $250 because of that green label. It would have been like $400 if it was blue 5.0, but what are you going to do? Still really happy about that book. I love that book. Super cool. And we'll end the list with the first appearance of Hector Hammond, which is Green Lantern 5. We are into 1961 here. 1961 book. I thought it was gorgeous. I said it would be like a 4.5 to a 5. I ended up signing on a 4.5. Glad I wrote it down because this one got a 4.5. First appearance of Hector Hammond. And I'm pretty happy about that. It's what I thought it was. Pretty much every book here I have significantly higher grade copies of. So pretty much everything you see here, except for the first appearance of Shark and maybe a couple others, I'm going to move. So if you're interested, just let me know. Will be for sale. What's interesting is this particular flea market, I only submitted half the books, and I've looked at the other books to see, like, why didn't I submit these? Some of them look even better. I don't know the method to my madness for why I chose the 15 that I chose. Maybe I'll submit the rest. I don't know, though. Now, like a year and a half later, I really only submit stuff that's high, like typically a little higher grade than this, even for pre-1975 stuff. Unless it's like Spider-Man. I mean, there's Spider-Man books where like a 1.5 is more valuable than all the books that I showed here combined. Spider-Man's crazy, but you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with all those raws I got. I have separated piles of like Green Lantern mid to high grade, and then I have Green Lantern high grade, and I do not let the piles touch. Maybe I'll just be submitting the high grade pile. This was obviously all the mid grade to high. I don't know. We'll figure it out together. I will see you at the next video. Collect what you love and keep on hunting.